Why visiting Mercury is not allowed, despite being closest to Earth. Mercury is the most difficult planet to visit, while being the second nearest planet to Earth. Why is that? Is it because it is too near the Sun for comfort, due to the high temperatures? Or will it have something to do with the makeup of the planet? You won't believe the response. Venus is the planet that is nearest to Earth? Yes, you read that correctly. Venus is only 25 million miles, 40 million kilometers from Earth at its closest point, despite the consensus that Mars is the planet that is more like Earth. If Mars is the second nearest planet to Earth, would that imply that it is? Not at all. Mercury is the second nearest planet to Earth, with the shortest distance of 48 million miles, 77.2 million kilometers between the two. Mars and Earth are separated by an average of roughly 55 million miles, 88.5 million kilometers. Only once every 26 months, during perihelion, the distance between Earth and Mars is notably shortened to just 36 million miles, 59 million kilometers. Mars is therefore often further away from Earth than Mercury. The first planet to be visited by spacecraft when humans started investigating the planets in the solar system was Venus in 1962, followed by Mars in 1965, and Jupiter in 1973. The first time the Mariner 10 space mission visited the planet Mercury was not until 1974. Following that, several space research probes were launched to investigate the solar system's outermost planets in 1974, 1979, 1992, 1995, 2000, and most recently in 2007. Numerous missions have been launched to investigate distant comets and asteroids, as well as Mars and the outer planets. However, Mercury was left without a single mission for 30 years. Was it because there was nothing more to uncover after the Mariner 10 exploration probe provided us with all the information we required from Mercury? No. Only 3 flybys of Mercury were accomplished by the Mariner probe, and only 40% of the planet's surface was mapped. Because this planet was so fascinating to study, scientists were eager to keep doing so. The only reason they hadn't sent more exploratory probes to investigate this planet is that it was the most difficult of all to reach. But for what reason is Mercury the hardest planet to visit? The planet with the most challenges? There are 2 main factors contributing to Mercury's difficulty: temperature and speed. Let's start with temperature. It's no secret that Mercury is the planet nearest to the Sun. Thus, the surface typically experiences temperatures of 806 degrees F, 430 degrees Celsius. The circuits and other parts of any space exploration probe must withstand extremely high temperatures. A journey. With the technology available at the time, Chen Yen used his understanding of orbital mechanics to develop a very specific route that would allow a spacecraft to travel a great distance and pass through multiple planets, slowing it down enough to be captured by Mercury's gravity with minimal fuel consumption. Rather than launching a spacecraft straight to Mercury, the spaceship would need to travel around the Sun roughly 15 times before entering Mercury's orbit. According to Chen Wanyan's revised itinerary, which was substantially longer, the Messenger space probe would be responsibility for completing this challenging mission, and to do so, the spacecraft would make use of the gravitational pull of Mercury, Venus, and Earth, going past Mercury 3 times, Venus twice, and Earth once. Similar to this, the Messenger exploratory probe approached Mercury's speed as it accelerated away from the sun with the help of the planet's gravitational pull. Messenger may start orbiting Mercury once it gets close enough to the planet to use its main engine to overcome its gravitational pull. Scanner Messenger launched on August 3, 2004. Messenger was a relatively modest research probe with a width of just 1.3 meters and a weight of slightly over 1 ton. To aid in maneuvering and direction control, the probe was equipped with a propellant thruster. The 2 solar panels that the scientists surprisingly utilized as solar sails to assist slow down the spacecraft's speed owing to the solar wind were shielded from high temperatures by this heat shield. The solar wind produces very little force that usually does not affect the spacecraft's trajectory, but the sun emits solar radiation that travels throughout the solar system and impacts the spacecraft, giving them a very slight push. It was very helpful for the Messenger probe to slow down because its journey would take a very long time. After entering Mercury's orbit, Messenger started to execute eccentric orbits, varying its distance from the planet between 125 miles, 200 kilometers, and 9,320 miles, 15,000 kilometers. This was necessary because even with a heat shield, a spacecraft that stays too close to Mercury risks damaging some of its equipment or, in a worst-case scenario, causing ship failures. Because Mercury's sun is 7 times brighter than Earth's, it was determined that the probe would follow eccentric orbits, which would allow it to regularly approach and depart from Mercury to cool off from the high temperatures that the planet reflects. The Messenger probe was tasked with sending thousands of images of Mercury's surface over the following 4 years. These images would provide crucial information about the planet's internal structure, surface topography, and chemical makeup. The Bepi-Colombo mission, which was recently launched by the European Space Agency ESA and the Japanese Space Agency JAXA, is expected to reach Mercury's orbit in 2025 and will be tasked with conclusively determining whether or not Mercury can support life. Do you want us to create a video where we discuss this new mission in detail? Tell us in the comments below.